A never-ending to-do list, being stuck in procrastination mode, having no free time. Does this sound familiar to you? Because this used to happen to me all the time. Proper time management can fix these issues, allowing you to finish tasks, stop procrastinating, and get some well-deserved free time. Here's how I stopped wasting 1,000 hours every year. We've been granted the mental capacities to make almost infinitely ambitious plans, yet practically no time at all to put them into action. It can be frustrating when we try to improve our time management abilities because there's so many tools out there and we use them all and still our time management stays the same. The problem with these tools is that they assume a person already has the skills to manage time inside of their brain. However, without the skills to actually use these tools, the tools are useless. Like a doctor with a hammer or a construction worker with a stethoscope. Think of these skills as the building blocks or necessary requirements to actually use the tool properly. Based on the research, a few particular skills are what we need to be able to take advantage of time management tools and start managing our time properly. So let's start with the frequently overlooked one, the one we all need to do better at, being aware of our time. What does it mean to be aware of time? Time awareness means recognizing that the time we have is finite and allocating time to certain things. It entails a deep understanding of choosing how you spend your time. And one essential part of time awareness is being aware of yourself. When are you at your peak functioning? When are you most efficient? If you know your peak functioning time, you'll be more efficient and more effective during that time. And if you know your low functioning time, you shouldn't be working during that time. Because if you're working during that time, you know you'll have much less efficient work. So say watching TV at your peak efficiency time would be a huge mistake, while watching TV at your trough time or the lowest focus time might make sense. To understand this better, we need to take a look at circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms are natural in all humans, and they involve natural rhythms in awakeness and alertness based on certain hormones and chemicals that move throughout our body. Now, I'm sure we've all noticed that we feel more alert at certain times of the day and more sluggish at certain times of the day. And this is when our attention is varied. And attention is just our cognitive ability to engage effectively with our environment, selecting the relevant information from our surroundings and applying select amounts of times to this information that makes sense. In most humans, attention tends to be lower between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. And this is because, depending on who you are, right, your circadian rhythm is usually lowest around this time. And this is just based on the evidence. Like for me, this isn't true, right? Because I find myself most alert probably between actually 7 and 10. But I'm most unalert between, say, 4 and 7. So maybe my cycle shifted 3 hours earlier. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about the regular cycle for most people. So between 7 and 10, our focus is a little bit lower. Between 10 and 2, attention usually gradually improves. Then there's a slight decrease between 2 and 4 p.m., commonly called the post-lunch dip. And then it tends to strengthen again between 4 and 10 p.m. before eventually dipping again at 10 p.m. And various factors, such as our chronotype, our sleep deprivation, our health at the time, can influence this cycle. For example, there are morning types like myself, which find peak attention at earlier times of the day, and evening types who have peak attention during the evening. It's important to note that this chronotype is a stable characteristic that usually doesn't change much over a person's life. Sure, you can vary it up and down by maybe 1 or 2 hours over your lifetime, but really it's not going to change that much throughout your life. And it's important to realize that because the circadian rhythm has a huge impact on our attention, as we spoke about earlier, also on our creative versus analytical work. Let's talk about that. So if we want to maximize our creative and analytical work, we need to take stock of when we're actually working our best. Because during these variations, we have variations in self-control, focus, attention, creative thinking, analytical thinking, and a various couple other things. So what I would do is take a week to analyze your performance during that week in these 4-hour increments. And I would assess and rank these intervals based on your productivity. So I suggest the time intervals of 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 6, and 6 to 10. And alternate your analytical versus creative work for each interval if you can. For example, say Monday from 6 to 10, you do analytical work. Then between 10 and 2, you'll do creative work, 2 to 6 analytical work again, and then 6 to 10 creative work. On Tuesday, you'll flip that. So on Tuesday, you'll do from 6 to 10 a.m., you'll do creative work. 10 to 2, you'll do analytical work. 2 to 6, you'll do creative work again. And 6 to 10 will be analytical work. And what I want you to do is for 6 days, try to alternate those 2 days and rank how you feel that work went during those 4-hour cycles. And what you'll find is a creative score and an analytical score to see when you're actually doing your best creative and your best analytical work. And this is huge for your life, right? Because you can figure out, okay, I know during this time I'm going to do my best creative work, and during this time I'm going to do my best analytical work. So if we take a look at my scores on the chart, we can see that I do my best creative work from 6 to 10 a.m., my best analytical work from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and I do the best of either work from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. with abysmal work performance from 6 to 10 p.m. because I just tracked this all the past week. So now what I'm going to do, right, is I know I should do creative work at this time, analytical work at this time, maybe some backup or combination work at this other time, and probably no work from 6 to 10, right? I should be asleep or winding down or doing other tasks that don't require much of my mental effort because I'm just no good at that time. The next thing we're going to do to improve our time management, improve our skills before we use the tools, is focus on our organization. The importance of organization comes in taking charge of your life and focusing on the important things. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So here are some quick tips I would say for organizing your life in a better fashion. Schedule everything, even your relaxing time. Eliminate the unimportant things in your life: TV, jobs, friendships. Use to-do lists. Break larger projects into more manageable yearly, monthly, weekly, and then daily tasks. Plan the next week the Sunday before that week starts, and plan the next day the night before by writing all your tasks down on a little post-it note. Schedule breaks, exercise, sleep, and vacation time. One of the most essential approaches I've found is to make appointments with myself in my calendar for when I'm going to do things. Like recording this video, that's a set hour time that I have in my calendar to record this video. And the great thing about this is you might start to set yourself up to experience flow. Now, flow is the holistic sensation that people feel when they act with total involvement. And that's from Csikszentmihalyi. I ruined that name, I know. To experience flow, it's crucial to balance the difficulty of a task and your ability to manage that difficulty. In other words, when we hit around 85% difficulty, that's when most people hit their flow, or that point of state where time doesn't matter, eating doesn't matter, sleeping doesn't matter, even though all those things really, really matter. All that matters is accomplishing this task because we've hit that magical point. And an interesting study on work-related flow and energy found that being in a state of flow during work is important for our energy levels while we're working and has a positive effect on our energy levels outside of work. That's amazing because, in other words, not only when you're in a flow state at work, not only when you're doing the thing you should be doing and you have the perfect amount of skill for it, do you feel motivated and energized while you're doing it. It also motivates and energizes you after you've completed the task. This shows how our work experiences can overall make our lives better. The whole point of time management is to create time to do what is meaningful to you. And I'll end with a quote from Oliver Burkeman, and he says, "Once you no longer need to convince yourself that you'll do everything that needs doing, you're free to focus on doing the few things that count." But that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.